21.3, age and how that affects sporting participation. So, what is aging? Aging is the degenerative process of several factors which limit physiological and psychological effects. There are two types of aging, chronological and biological. Chronological aging is the increase of age over time, whilst biological aging is the progressive decline in your physiological structures. This could be from failure in the vital organs or loss of suppleness in the joints and looseness in connective tissue. Despite aging and the negatives there are, people are living and aging longer. As the picture on the slide shows, as technology, medication, and diet knowledge improves, this allows for people to live till they are much older compared to when technology and knowledge about health wasn't as vast. A study has shown that life expectancy has risen from 76 to 81 in 23 years in England. Life expectancy has also been increased due to the funding and necessities. Poor countries have lower life expectancies. India has a life expectancy of 66. Unfortunately, there are stereotypes amongst older beings, as questions are asked whether, due to their fragility and being seen as weak, do they offer enough to society. The elderly's mental conditions are also affected with age very badly, and the quality of life amongst them, and with people with dementia and Alzheimer's, is very low. Age is helped throughout years with growing opportunities now, though youngsters can easily become involved in after school and out of school clubs and physical exercise to keep fit. Exercise is also compulsory in school curriculum. For the elderly in this century who may not have been home to these clubs in their youth may struggle to do any exercise at all due to the bad habits in their early life without the opportunities. However, elders can now participate in slower exercise such as yoga or swimming so that they're able to go out and not just keep physically fit but psychologically and socially. Elite sporting careers are very rarely started in later life, and retirement is more common as equestrian sports, golf and swimming allow for older participants. Golf may also see an increase in activity as you get older because it's a less demanding sport physically. It allows for more recreational participation, like go out with mates or whatever. Contact sports, which are more competitively physical, like rugby or football, do not allow for elders to play at a high level due to the contact and force used in the sports, and this may see people retire from these sports, these elite careers in their 30s. Endocrine system. The endocrine system that affects the production of hormones which progress the process of aging. Human growth hormone production is slowed in your middle age due to the effect on the pituitary gland, which creates the human growth hormone. Due to this deficiency, muscle and bone mass is decreased, which will make the individual physically weaker due to the decrease and there not being enough weight to create power and maintain strength. This is just how elders do not tend to participate in much contact sport due to the menopause. In females at the age of around 50, the production of the female hormone estrogen is halted by the ovaries. As in males with testosterone who lose 20% of their levels they had compared to the amount they had during their youth, they lose this testosterone. It's called the andropause. This decline usually begins in the 30s and will increase the chance of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Testosterone loss can also mean that you lose stamina, which suggests how it's rare to see many over 65, 70-year-olds out running. Muscle mass can also be decreased, which again will inhibit the ability for elders to do contact sport. However, testosterone loss can also accumulate into psychological problems amongst the elderly, with anxiety and depression amongst them becoming more common. The skeletal system causes problems for elders due to how bones will stop growing and rebuilding efficiently at 18 for females and 21 for males. The bones then weaken at 30 as they lose calcium and other minerals needed in order to maintain strength. Osteoblast productivity also decreases, so bones cannot be rebuilt as well. However, osteoclasts keep working at their normal levels in order to reabsorb bone tissue, so the bones aren't completely weak. But this will make you more susceptible to osteoporosis, where the bone reabsorption is working faster than the bone is being deposited, and this makes for big gaps in between the bones, making them much more brittle due to how they are not as compact as it shows in the slide. This leads to osteopenia, which is a loss of bone mass. Brittle bones make the elderly more fragile, and any hard contact may cause serious injury, and this may suggest how rugby has a low participation amongst elders. Osteopenia and bone deficiencies are more likely and a bigger risk for older females who do not take part in sufficient exercise, have a poor amount of calcium and protein in their diet, and may also smoke. Osteoarthritis is also common amongst elders, as over time with the constant use of joints, especially of those who have played sport in their earlier life, their cartilage may have worn down, which makes for the bone on one joint to rub against the bone on the other, and this can create bone spurs, which will make for irritation and loss of movement. This has caused people even in their 20s, not just in early age, to give up sports such as football, especially at elite level, as if the knee joint loses the cartilage and mobility is limited. You won't be able to play at that top level, and this also stops elderly people participating in flexible sports such as gymnastics because of the complete depletion of cartilage inhibits the range of movement they have. The muscular system. Sarcopenia is the main problem to the system. With age, as this is where you lose the muscle mass. Both genders begin to lose mass at around 32 and become more rigid and lose their muscle tone due to the change in the tissue and the shrinking of fibers accumulating to the muscle atrophy. Fast glycolytic fibers are lost more commonly, and this inhibits elders from participating in any sports requiring power, such as sprinting, as they cannot create enough force. A decrease in skeletal muscle mass means that support and structure become more hunched, and posture is lost due to loss of muscles holding up that posture. Sarcopenia slowly deteriorates muscle progressively and generally affects women more than males. Typically in elders lacking physical activity, calorie and protein intake, with the lack of human growth hormones, this will speed up the process. Age's impact on the muscular system also impacts flexibility due to how the change in the muscle tissue thickens around the joint, and this limits the range of movement. And again, it stops participation in sports such as gymnastics. Due to the depletion of the muscular system, respiratory muscles can also take damage, and this results in the respiratory system itself taking the effects. The diaphragm underneath the ribs on the diagram on the slide. So the diaphragm needs to lift the rib cage to allow the ribs to expand with the lungs when exhaling, become weakened, and this have an effect on aerobic performance, meaning that elderly may struggle when participating in endurance sports such as long distance and running marathons, and this is because the diaphragm isn't as strong, so it can't expand the chest enough to, when you exhale, to get more oxygen for your muscles. Also, over the age of around 35, there is a reduction in VO2 max, which will ultimately mean that the recovery takes longer, which may suggest how footballers at elite level around this age may not be able to play consecutive games. An increase in collagen formed in the lungs, lung tissue decreases the elasticity of these lungs, and this reduces the lung volume because they can't expand again to create more surface area for oxygen to take over. A combination of these effects leads to how the elderly cannot partake in too much vigorous exercise, or because they're fatigued and their muscles would fatigue quicker, especially with the lack of muscular system as they get older. The cardiovascular system, though, age affects this system due to how firstly the SA node loses cells, which slows heart rate because of how there aren't as many cells to react to keep up a quicker pace. The graph in the slide shows how BPM beats per minute reduced by 10 beats every 10 years, but healthier subjects who don't smoke may see their BPM still be reduced but at a smaller rate. Capillary walls thicken in the body as you age, and blood becomes more viscous and stickier. What am I doing? Stickier, and this mixture of low BPM may increase blood pressure. A decrease in hematocrit and red blood cell reduction also means that as you get older, there'll be a difference in the amount of oxygen being delivered to the muscles, and this may increase the chance of muscular fatigue when exercising, which may suggest how muscular endurance activities such as cycling tire older people quicker. Arteries can also become affected by atherosclerotic plaque, which builds up in the arteries due to fatty substances blocking the passage, creating a cardiovascular disease known as atherosclerosis. Risk of chronic heart disease also increases with age, but there are other controllable factors such as smoking and physical inactivity which increase the chance. However, there's genetic complications such as type 2 diabetes, which will increase chronic heart disease chances. Aging in the CV system can also decrease cognitive function amongst the elderly due to how age affects the chance of cardiovascular disease, vascular dysfunction, and dementia and Alzheimer's. However, regular exercise can control the cognitive functions. Regular exercise will reduce the chance of the disease, but it can also reduce the chance of psychological effects like dementia and Alzheimer's, because of how elderly can go out and exercise and socialise, stay healthy psychologically. Body mass. As you age, metabolism may slow and body mass will increase. This may also be in accordance with how physical inactivity may cause an added increase in body mass due to the sedentary nature and how the energy gained from eating is unlikely to be expended. This also is affected by a low BMR, which increases the fat gain. An increase in body mass an increase in body mass affects the possibility of exercising harder due to the physiological effects on the cardiovascular system, directly affecting the heart and the vessels, such as high cholesterol in the arteries, blocking how much blood can get to the muscles, and increasing blood pressure dangerously, or fat around the heart, stopping it from beating as regularly as it can. However, looking at the graph on the slide, I haven't got the slide up. With the increase in opportunities and knowledge about keeping a healthy lifestyle, it is strange to see the percentage of obese adults in the later years was higher, 2010 compared to 2009. The higher percentages are in 2010. But this may be because body mass is decreasing at around 65, because of sarcopenia in the muscular system. And finally, thermoregulation. Heat tolerance amongst older people does increase, however, this time. This may help when exercising in hotter countries because of how better acclimatization means that elders can exercise in different countries without having as much irritation as they may have got when they were younger. The acclimatization mainly delays the sweating mechanism, which means that the control of dehydration is easier for elders because they aren't losing all that fluid through their sweat, and they may not have to drink as much.